Hey, this is Meridith, Elliott, Powell, and welcome to another Saturday morning and Sales Logic, the show where we talk about the topics that you need to be relevant in sales today and to be successful in sales today. And with me is my co-host, Mark Hunter. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning. Hey, looking forward to a good show. And hey, how was your week this week?
It was busy.
What was the big thing?
Well, I just released my groundbreaking research report on the state of uncertainty and its impact on American business today, and why uncertainty is actually a good and positive thing for your business. So that was kind of my big exciting thing. What was on the plate for your week?
Well, I'd say one of the exciting things was my ability to read your report, which was absolutely well done. Yeah, we had a lot of stuff happen. We had so much stuff going on here. We're starting a new podcast here in a couple of weeks and getting ready for Outbound. Of course, Outbound coming up. You and I will both be there. And huge. That thing just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Mark, I think Outbound has to be the best sales conference out there. I mean, I think just from the what's discussed, the networking opportunities, and people really bring their game for the amount of content. I know personally, I feel a little bit of pressure at Outbound that I can't just go and do the same old shtick. I got to up my game and really deliver some paradigm shifting, revolutionary sales information.
Well, I tell you what, that's true, because it is amazing the number of repeat people. This will be the fourth one we will have done. And the number of repeat ticket sales is absolutely phenomenal. So that says people must see value. It's the reason they're coming back. And of course, this year we've added Outbound Down Under, which will be after dark here in the US. We're adding Outbound Europe. This thing is going to be almost 24/7 for several days. So think about it. This is the old Jerry Lewis telethon. Sorry.
That just dated you.
That just dated me. Hey, Google it, okay? Anyway, but hey, probably with that, we should crank the video and start the show officially, right?
I think we probably should do that. So let me jump over here.
It'll get me out of trouble.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking to myself, we're talking away, and we probably should get going. So, all right, let's hit the video and let's officially start Sales Logic.
Prospect with integrity, we will get customers who have integrity. Integrity is the foundation from which everything is built on.
You better understand value. But at the end of the day, sales is a relationship business. It is a people business. It is an emotional business.
This is Sales Logic.
All right, Mark, here we go. So just, before Mark dives in and tells you what we're going to cover today, and I really love today's show because I think it's such an important topic, especially given how much sales has changed and is changing. I just want to give you an overview of how the show works. Every week we have a topic, something really relevant that we are going to cover. First, we take a question from the audience. That's right. We want you to be a part of the show. So if you have a question, simply go to our website, saleslogicpodcast.com, saleslogicpodcast.com. It's right there on the banner, or you can just put it out there in social media, #SalesLogic. We've got a book that we are going to cover, and you are going to walk away with the lightning round, which is the part where we give you strategies you can put into place immediately because we respect your time and want you to get return on investment. So, Mark, what are we looking at today?
Well, today's topic is hiring a sales coach. Yes or no? And based on the comments you and I both get, I know it's going to be a great conversation. We got a great question that comes in from Emma in Denmark. I'll get to that in just a second. And then we have got a book we're going to highlight, and we do a lightning round. And I'll tell you what, the lightning round is going to dovetail very well with the whole hiring a sales coach. So, hey, let's jump into, first of all, the question from Emma in Denmark. I love the fact that we've got listeners from all over the world, because I know We both have got clients all over the world,
Yeah.
so it's great they are following us here. She asks, I am new to sales, and while I'm excited about my new position, I feel a bit overwhelmed. My sales leader is super busy and does not have much time for me. I am wondering if I should hire a sales coach. Okay, there's so many other things we could be reading into this that Emma's already got concerns, but hey, let's just deal with this from a sales coach standpoint.
Yeah, I would say first of all, Emma, take a breath. You are in a position that so many of us have been in before. My personal belief is that if you go to work for a great sales leader twice in your life, you're probably luckier than most. So first of all, I think that you need to, before you determine spending your own money to hire a sales coach, I would sit down and really have a frank but kind conversation with your sales leader. The first thing you need to do in your role before you hire a sales coach is figure out, number one, what exactly are your expectations? What exactly is your sales leader expecting of you, and what does success look like from their point of view? Then try to get a feel for what is their bandwidth and ability to coach you.
I love that. And I'm going to add to that. Find out who else is on the team, because, when you join a new team, you want to be able to have mentors. You want to be able to have peers who will kind of help guide you along. The approach, I know when I used to hire salespeople a lot when I was a sales manager, is I would always team them up with somebody else. I want to find out from my new manager, who am I going to be teamed up with? What's that person's skill set? What's that? But I would not hesitate in the least bit to be thinking about what is the type of sales coach I need. Now, you notice I already said what type of sales coach, because I do believe hiring a sales coach makes a big difference. Look at Tom Brady. Tom Brady, he is without a doubt GOAT when it comes to football, greatest of all time. And yet I've heard numbers that he has up to 7 and 8 different coaches for different things. Now think about that. Even at this point in his career, he's got coaches. What is that saying? That says that he knows there's still another level of performance that he can reach to. If somebody like a Tom Brady needs coaches, I kind of think we all kind of need coaches.
I would agree. I think a coach for a lot of areas of your life is one of the best things that you can do. However, you're new into this role, and you need to do a gap analysis of your own skills. Mark mentioned something great, and that is figure out who else is on the team. As you figure out who else is on the team, ask them the question about what the sales process is. What does the sales process look like? And one of my favorite questions is, where do you feel the hardest part of the sales process is for this particular company? Is it getting in the door? Is it uncovering opportunity? Is it differentiating yourself from the competition? Is it closing the deal? Because when you understand where the toughest part of the sales process is, you're going to be able to guide your sales coach to help you. Don't assume that the sales coach you hire understands your business, understands your product. You're going to get far more return on investment if you can guide them to basically help you.
That is so key, because the coach has to guide you to your goals, not guide you to their goals. And this is where I see if there's a mistake people make in hiring a sales coach. They say, wow, this person was so successful, I'm just going to go and hire. I'm just going to go. Hold it. Does their style, does their philosophy, does their approach line up with what your expectations are and your company's expectations are? You've got to make sure you're in alignment to begin with. Otherwise, you are going to have a train wreck from the start.
Yeah. I would also agree that I want to back up again and say the first conversation you need to have is to go back to your sales leader and get clear on the expectations. What is he or she measuring? What are they looking for? So many salespeople, I see just the mistake they make is they are working really hard, and in their estimation, they're performing, but it's not the result that their sales leader is looking for. And once you know that, again, you need to be very clear with your sales coach on what expectation and result you are looking for. In essence, what Mark and I are saying is, and I would say that I love the fact that you use Tom Brady as an example. Tom Brady may still handle coaches, but he's in charge of what's happening. It's not like he's just standing there like a bump on a log, letting his coach tell him what to do. He's saying, this is the result I need. You write the path to help me get there, but I'm going to hold you accountable to make me successful in this area. One other thing I want to say is be careful with a sales coach. If they are not excelling in their own right, if the other people they coach are not successful, run away. Hiring a sales coach, a lot of people coach sales because they can't do sales. A lot of sales leaders are like that too.
Oh, wow. That's a sore spot. We could do 5 episodes on that one. Wow. Hey, we should probably jump over and really start digging into the topic, hiring a sales coach, yes or no. And as we jump into that, I'm going to share with this little idea. Activity does not equal productivity, and productivity does not equal results. So you got to make sure that whatever coach you're using is focused on the results. I have seen too many people, what they do is they get caught up with a coach and they're measuring things that don't need to be measured. They're measuring activities that really don't result in productivity. They're generating productivity that doesn't create results. Like you said, you got to find a coach who has walked the talk and has been able to do it and has been able to do it with other people, because there are successful salespeople who make terrible coaches.
Yes.
Right? I want to find the coach who has done it well with other people.
Yeah, I wrote a blog a couple of years back called "What to Do When Your Sales Manager Sucks," and I thought "sucks" is probably not the word I should use in a title of a blog, but it's really what I meant, and so I left it there. So for the majority of the time, you're going to work for somebody who's really good at sales, not somebody who's really good at developing people and developing salespeople. So I would say yes to hiring a sales coach, but you have to hire a sales coach that has a track record of developing people. And those are questions that you should ask on the front end and ask for testimonials and proof on that. Mark, we've got a great question here from John. Thanks so much for saying that we consistently add value, but saying, at what point in your sales coaching selling process do you move someone from giving value to buying your service?
Great question. I think if you create value, they wind up buying your service. And I've seen this time and time again. I'm working with somebody and you create the value and it automatically, the greater the value, the easier the sale.
I would agree with that.
If I have to coerce you to buy, I haven't done a good job of laying out a value proposition for you.
Yeah. Here's my feeling on that question. And I agree. I think it's a great question. This is why I think that sales is art and science. I mean, the science part of it is that you work a process. The art is you go off a feel. It's instinctive. I can't say that I make 5 calls of giving value and on the 6th call, I sell the product. It's a feel. But here's what you have to do. When I really understand, let's assume I'm calling on Mark and I have really identified his pain point. We're clear on that. He agrees with me that's on his pain point. And I provide some level of value to solve his pain point. I should feel the energy shift where Mark is buying into me and he's getting trust with me. And at that point, I have to ask for the business. Don't ever assume because you add value that they're just going to figure out you need to buy. You still need to command control. So for me, it would look something like, Mark, this has been great. I want to make sure that, what we talked about is really going to make a difference for you. And if I've nailed that pain point, he does. And I just want to say, Mark, that's the tip of the iceberg of the types of things that I could do for you in this relationship. I'd love to move forward on the proposal. that I laid out. Let's talk about next steps. So I'm adding value to build that trust. But once that trust is built, I'm courageous to move forward and ask for the value.
See, that's I think the most critical part about coaching, because what you're doing is the coach has to understand the art of selling. Yes. The science, the clinical process, you can really get almost anywhere. And that's kind of an easier piece with which to do. It's the art, and that's what the coach is going to help you with. I'm going to share with you an example, and it really kind of dovetails back to Emma. I had a salesperson who I've known for a number of years. He loves all of my content, and he was taking a new job last fall. A month before he took the new job, and it was all laid out, but due to contractual needs, he had to wait a month. He hired me as a sales coach to help him get started with his new company, to help him get started. And we've been doing it now about 5 months, and he has rocketed to the top of the list. And this is a very complex sale, extremely complex. He has rocketed to the top that he is in Europe. The company is in the Bay Area. Yes, it's a SaaS company. And the sales enablement manager, VP of sales, who I happen to know, I didn't realize I knew him. I called him and he said, oh, I know him. Believe me, he is like setting everybody on fire. Now, I'm not saying this from a brag. What I'm saying this is from, he hired me as a coach because we were very methodical in the process we were doing. And we analyzed every element. And he kind of makes a comment. He says, after our calls, you kind of beat me up a little bit. You see, that's the whole thing. You have to have a coach that is willing to get tough with you. Having a coach to come alongside you and sing Kumbaya, that's not what you want. You need a coach that's going to get down deep. And that's what you got to be asking. That's what you got to be looking for.
Yeah, I would also say to basically add to that, Mark, something that's really working in that relationship is that he wants a coach. So I think that's a little gut check you need to do with yourself. My favorite salespeople to coach are people who are already successful because their ego's kind of on the table and they're just really excited to learn to go to the next level and do what that coach is telling you to do. At the same time, I have fallen into the trap of being hired by people. When we get there, there's just always a reason and it's always an excuse. And it's not that that's wrong. We're just not always at a point in our life where we want to be coached. Sometimes we're tired. Sometimes we're done with the job. Sometimes there's a lot of things. But the coach is not the magic bullet that's going to transform you into a sales professional. You are that person. You're just using the coach to get some objectivity, as Mark said, to be a little bit of tough on you, and then to bring some wisdom and some expertise to add some strategies and skills that maybe you don't have. So you need to really ask yourself, are you willing to let go of the way you've always done things? Are you willing to try new things? Are you willing to do what's uncomfortable? And are you willing to be gut-wrenchingly honest about where you're amazing, but where you've got some real issues that need to be worked on? If you're not willing to go there, it's not time to hire a coach.
And you know what I found? It's so interesting. The high-performing salespeople already are much more willing to pay for a coach out of their own pocket. Yeah. They're willing to pay for the coach. I have a number of people who I coach, and they pay for it out of their own pocket. And it's funny, but it's the lower performers, it's the middlers, the people who just kind of hang out in the middle, who will never pay for a coach themselves, adamant that their company pays for it. And I'll tell you what, they're the ones that, I don't have much toleration for them because they don't have skin in the game and they don't own the process. That's what's so key when it comes to hiring a coach. Hey, we could talk about this forever, but we got a great book. You were the one that recommended the book this week, and I love the book. So you want to talk about it?
Sure. It's Simon Sinek's book on why. It's probably going to be one of the most famous books and talks out there, but really getting to the art of why, understanding why. I think why is one of the most important, let me tell you why I suggested the book, is I think it's one of the most important questions that we need to answer in sales. If you're going to ask a lot of questions, if you're really going to be a good salesperson, you need to explain why you're doing things. Why helps them understand why it's good for them. It also is understanding why it's good for you. If you're going to coach somebody, you need to help them understand why you're digging in, why you're being tough on them. If you're going to go and hire a coach, you need to understand your why. Why is it that you want to hire somebody? Why do you want to go to the next level? What's underneath that? In essence, what it is your story. And the art of why comes into so many different plays in sales. And I think starting with Simon Sinek's TED Talk and going on to his book is just a great place to start.
I love the book, and I've had the chance to share the stage a couple times with him. And I'll tell you what, he is always riveting in terms of how he really gets you to look at why. So I suggest that book and every other book that he has written. Hey, the lightning round, we're going to get into the lightning round. The lightning round this week is tips to help you get started with a coach fast. But before we do that, let me remind the audience, Outbound is coming up in June. Really want you to check it out. Go out to Outbound Conference, and hey, use the code Meridith 100 or Mark 100, and you'll save $100. But we'll both be there along with a lot of our friends, and you, our friend, will be there if you get the ticket. So Outbound June, go to outboundconference.com. So the lightning round is tips to get started right with a coach.
Yeah. I want to say, speaking of Outbound, we've got our friend Doug Lehman here, who's just popped up with the art of adding value at each touch point in your outreach cadence. In layman's terms, leverage opportunity to add more value. That is absolutely right. All right. So the hiring a coach, tips to get you started with a coach fast are: number one, be clear on the expectations. Let the coach know exactly what you're looking for in terms of outcome.
I say be clear on the times that you're going to meet and stick to them. Don't waffle on the times you're going to meet.
Oh, that's such good advice. Never move your coaching sessions. Number one is ask to be coached from a behavior as well as a results standpoint. Really get clear on what behaviors you're supposed to be doing to achieve the results you're looking for.
Make sure that you can be frank and open and authentic with the coach. There's no hiding of anything. If you got an issue, it's going to be on the table. And you have to understand that they have integrity and they have confidentiality in mind with you all the time.
Really go there with a good understanding of your skills. Do a skill assessment. Let them know what you feel like you've already mastered and are good at, and the skills that you want to focus on and learn from them.
Don't hesitate to get ugly with them in terms of, hey, we're going to role play this. Role play it with them. Too many times what happens is people will just tell me what to do and I'll go do it. No, let's role play it together in the coaching session.
Yeah, come to each session completely prepared. It is not the coach's responsibility to guide the session. You need to guide the session. So come with your questions, come with what you want to focus on, and make it clear what you want from the outcome of each session.
Make sure you come out of each session with clear, specific goals that you are going to be working on, and that builds on what you just said. Why don't you share one more? I'll share one more, and we'll kind of close it down.
All right. Bleed your coach dry. Most coaches will give you the opportunity to shoot them an email or do a check-in call between sessions. Don't hesitate to reach out. The moment you lay the money down on that table, that coach is working for you, and use them.
Hold your coach accountable. If they are not delivering value to you, if they're not helping you enough, don't hesitate to push back, and don't hesitate to say, you're gone. I'm going to go find somebody else. So, hey, this has been another Sales Logic. And hey, I do encourage the audience to check out saleslogicpodcast.com, our website. We're starting to put more and more stuff out there for you. It's great stuff. But hey, most of all, we enjoy having you part of the show. So I want to say thank you for listening to Sales Logic this week. If you like what you hear, subscribe, rate, and review the show on your favorite podcast app. If something we've said has earned you a single dollar, consider telling a friend about our show. It's how we grow to help you grow. I'm Mark Hunter.
And I'm Meridith Elliott Powell.
Remember, when you sell with confidence and integrity,
uncertainty suddenly becomes your competitive advantage.
And the sale becomes logical.
All right. So just a couple of things to remember between this week and next week. Go to outboundconference.com, do Mark 100, Meridith 100, and you can get a discount on that ticket. You do not want to miss this sales conference. And go to meridithelliottpowell.com, State of Uncertainty Report, and get a free download of my new research report. You're going to be fascinated by the results. But we will see you next week for another session, another show, and another set of strategies to turn all of this uncertainty to your competitive advantage. In the meantime, check out saleslogicpodcast.com. We'll see you next Saturday.